Hello YouTube, Jeremy here, and as many of you are probably aware from my previous videos, my living situation is in question. Now, even though right now I am in an apartment, I got to thinking, and I remembered years and years ago that I attempted something, making a fire from tin cans. And if you look on YouTube, you can find hundreds of different ways, hundreds of different styles. So I thought that I would show you what I've been doing in my nervous, anxiety-filled, depressive state that caused me to create this. I actually have 3 different ones right now, and there is one that is larger, one that is medium-sized, and one that is small. All 3, of course, are small in relation to a paint can or even one of the industrial restaurant-sized tomato sauce cans or vegetable or something that you get from a restaurant. But these were made from either food that I got from the laundry room or that I purchased. And the first is, let me take this part off. This was made from a mandarin can, mandarin oranges. And it is a version of the rocket stove. Now, of course, none of these have been tested, but in theory they should work just fine. I have the can, lid removed. There's been, let me try and get that focused in. I put a couple of holes near the top to help circulate airflow. Oh, on the side too, there's 4 holes on the top, and then a hole there, and there, there, and right next to it, to also help circulate. And this also helps the second can, if I add that to it, helps it stay in place. Then I have the large opening. Oh, I'm out of focus, out of frame. There we go. And then out of tin foil, I created the feeding tube. Now, what this does is once you have something like a bird's nest or something that will hold and create the fire, you of course put that in, and then you put small sticks or batten down pieces of wood, and you can put that on top. And then as the air gets pulled through the bottom, you have the wood on top facing, looking from there, facing, so the air will, let me see if I have something small enough to use as a pointer, so you'll get an idea, better idea. Okay, there we go. So say the fire is starting from middle. So you put in the stick and the end will catch fire. And then you slowly push in the stick and it will keep the fire going. Now, of course, you can fill the whole tray area with small sticks. That gives you more of a flame and more fuel. And what I did, because I thought this would be a good way to stay warm, but of course, if this is the only thing I'm going to be using, eventually I'll want coffee or tea or maybe whatever food that I can get a hold of, like rice or pasta. I took a smaller can, took out the bottom, bent in the jagged edge so I don't cut myself. Of course, you can see right there the mandarin can did bite me. Not bad. I was, I think, distracted at the time or something. But you can take the second can, slide it into the top, and then because of the indentations and the bending of it, it stays. Now you have a open area that will show the fire, not snuff it out. And you can put something like a kettle or cup or something like that on top of it to boil the water. And of course, you still have the air circulation from the bottom and all these other holes that are on the sides and top. So that's a small version. And put this down. The middle version, slightly bigger, and it actually has some things stuffed inside of it to act as kindling, plus a small fire steel. Oh, didn't really get a good shot of that. But it has some envelopes and paper, cotton, uh, things like that. And then you pull apart slightly the cotton to work as a bird's nest. Now, this is basically the same idea. This is something more designed for cooking. And again, you have the feed tube, same concept. You have your small stick, and there's where the fire would be, so you can push in the stick. Then you have the opened area for the air to come pulled through. Up top, I have, out of frame, I have the holes going all the way around at a couple centimeters apart from each other. And something different was on top, I put a few holes. So what that does is when the fire comes up, it will heat up the top as well as come through the hole, so it will help you cook. And I suppose ideally, if you wanted to just use it for heat, you could take off, oh, there goes a piece of paper. You could take off the feed tube and just have it open, and then you could just have the heat and the heat from down here, and that way you could stay warm that way. And the last one I made is this was actually something that this was, I forget what order I made these in. I made the mandarin can, the smallest one, the first one I showed you recently. These other two I made a while ago, maybe a week or two ago. But this one came from a can of pumpkin filling. And again, as you can see, there's holes all around the top of it. And when I made the holes on top with the can opener, with regular Swiss Army can opener, it actually punctured the very top, creating a couple holes, or several holes. And that acts like, as it did with the one previously, the fire can come through the holes and heat up the metal for cooking. This way you can have a larger fire and possibly either cook longer or cook something larger. And I put on the back of it, opposite the feeding area, some air circulation holes, so it can get like a cross breeze. And I don't know when it might be that these will actually get tested, because unfortunately the apartment complex I live in, you are not allowed to have a barbecue or, a grill or open flame anything outside or inside. Of course, not inside for obvious reasons, but outside as well. And I do look around the common ground and I see a lot of downed branches and things like that that would make good fire starting material, fire fuel. And that got me thinking that something like this would be a good idea. Now, I know that up until this video, everything has mostly been about tobacco and pipe smoking and occasionally cigars and things of that nature. And I'm not trying to change the format or anything like that. I'm also not doing this to say that I'm a prepper or bushcraft person or anything like that either. I'm saying that I'm realizing something like this might be something that will be needed. Survival isn't always about bushcraft or zombies or anything that Hollywood might say it is. Survival is waking up and realizing I don't have basic utilities that others my age might have. So if this helped you in any way, cool. If any of you like camping, this might give you something that is an alternative to buying a $100 propane hibachi set. It might help save some money, even though your situation might not be in a place that needs something like this. It might be something fun for you and your family to do together. And there's other ways of doing this. For example, let me use this as the example. Gotta take this part off. There we go. The typical rocket stove has a large can. Say this was a industrial restaurant style tomato sauce can, which is usually close to 1 gallon, I believe. You would be able to take a regular soup can, put that in, and use that as the feed tube. I can't speak today. Feed tube. And then you could use the foil or even maybe the lid that you cut off from the top of it, bend it in half, and you could feed that across as a divider to separate where the wood and the air go. But yeah, this is just a simple video, and If you are watching this, one, I thank you. Um, if you're a subscriber and you're watching this, good on you. I will keep all of you up to date as to what the situation is. And thank you for many of your good wishes. And I wish you well. Until next time.